The story I'll be sharing today is Mickey's Merry Christmas by Neita Oviatt Friend. Because this story was written in 1975, it had some parts of it that I didn't think were appropriate anymore, so I will be modifying it slightly in my reading. Mickey's Merry Christmas. Mickey had trampled all over the farm that morning. He had barked at the new calf and had chased the chickens until the farmer came out of the barn yelling, "Hey you, stop that!" Mickey ran down into the orchard to see what he could find there. Suddenly he heard something going thumpity thumpity thump, and a brown rabbit with a stubby white tail dashed right past his nose. Mickey dashed right after the rabbit, out of the orchard, through the cornfield, and into the deep dark woods. Mickey never took his eyes off that rabbit's stubby white tail, so of course he didn't notice where he was going. After a while, the rabbit slowed up, and Mickey got ready to pounce on him. But when Mickey pounced, there was nothing under him except a hole in the ground, with that stubby white tail disappearing down the hole. "My goodness," said Mickey. "How mean! It's the meanest trick I've ever seen." He tried to dig the hole deeper, but he got so much dirt in his eyes, he decided he might as well go home. He didn't know which way to go, so he went straight ahead until he came to a big red barn. When he found out that it wasn't his barn, he kept right on going. And as he went on and on, he came to more houses and fewer trees. Before long, he came to the edge of a city. "Oh my," said Mickey. "How strange. Must be this is LaGrange." It was the first time Mickey had ever been in a city alone, and he was such a foolish little dog, he ran right into the streets. The automobiles honked their horns at him, and the streetcars clanged their bells, and he thought they were trying to play tag with him. "Oh my," said Mickey, "what fun! I'm glad I know how to run." But the next minute he found out that it wasn't fun at all, because a car bumped him and sent him sprawling on the grass. Luckily, he wasn't hurt much, but it taught him a good lesson. All day long, he ran up one street and down another, smelling of everything. But he couldn't find a thing that smelled like anything he'd ever smelled before. It was growing dark and snow was falling. "My goodness," said Mickey, "I fear I am lost. What will I do? Oh dear." He went to several back doors and barked, but everybody said, "Go home, go on home." Mickey wanted to go, but he didn't know which way to go. "My goodness," said Mickey, "I wish I had my warm bed and my own dish." He prowled around in the backyards, tipping over garbage cans until he finally found a big bone. Then he crawled under a porch to get out of the wind and snow. He shivered and wished he had a home with a bed near a radiator and a dish of milk under the kitchen sink. "Oh my," said Mickey, "I guess I need a home with a new address." In the morning he started right out to find a new home. But he didn't know how to find a new home any more than he knew how to find his old one. He walked along sadly until he came to a toy store. In the middle of the window was a big Christmas tree, all trimmed up with tinsel and colored balls. The rest of the window was filled with Christmas toys. There were fire engines, wagons, dolls, and all sorts of stuffed animals. Rabbits, cats, and dogs. Dogs! "My goodness," said Mickey. "What dogs? They look silly, just like logs." Then Mickey had an idea. If a stuffed dog could be a nice Christmas present, why wouldn't a live dog be a much better one? And especially one who could sit up, speak, roll over, and play dead dog. But how could he be a Christmas present? Santa Claus always attended to Christmas presents, and he lived way up north in the snow. My goodness, said Mickey. I'll go to see Santa up in the snow. Mickey started north at once. As he went farther north, there was more snow and fewer towns. The cold was dreadful, and he was glad when he came to a farm. The farmers were glad when he came too. He killed the rats in their barns. Then he curled up in the warm straw and got a good night's rest. But he never stayed more than a few days. He wanted to get to the North Pole before Santa Claus started on his Christmas trip. Oh my, said Mickey. I'd hate to arrive at the North Pole an hour late. He waded on through the deep snow and over the drifts. One night, when he had almost reached the North Pole, he ran into a dreadful blizzard. The snow was drifting so he couldn't walk. The sleet got in his eyes so he couldn't see. He dug a hole in a big drift and curled up with just his nose sticking out. When the storm was over, he crawled out and looked about. Then he saw a light far in the distance, swinging back and forth. He hurried as fast as he could through the deep snow, and after a while he met a little man dressed in a red suit, trimmed with white fur, carrying a lantern. Mickey knew at once that it was Santa Claus, but before he had a chance to say, "How do you do?" Santa Claus held out his hand, saying, "Why, bless my long white whiskers! Where in the world did you come from?" "My goodness," said Mickey. "Arf, arf! That means I come from far off." "You certainly do look as if you had come from far off," Santa Claus said, taking the snow out of Mickey's whiskers. "So you want to be a Christmas present. Not a bad idea. Well, I'll look in my book and see who wants a dog for Christmas." Mickey followed Santa Claus into his shop and warmed himself by the stove, while Santa Claus looked through his book. He ran his finger down the pages, mumbling to himself, "Skates, book, train, doll, dog. Here it is. Here is a little boy who wants a dog for Christmas." "My goodness," said Mickey. "My word, it's the luckiest thing I've heard." "Yes, that is lucky," said Santa Claus, tying a great big red ribbon bow around Mickey's neck. "And I'll tell you what else is lucky. You got here just in time. I'm leaving tonight." Santa Claus was busy all the rest of the day packing the toys in the sleigh. As Mickey watched him arranging all of the dolls and trains and stuffed animals, he held his head very high. "My goodness," said Mickey, "I'll bet I'm the best he's given out yet." When Santa Claus was ready to go, he told Mickey that he might ride on the front seat with him. Mickey thought that would be great fun, because he had often wondered how Santa Claus traveled all over the world in one night. But with the sleigh bells jingling softly, he got so sleepy he could not keep his eyes open. And the next thing he knew, Santa Claus was shaking him. "Wake up, sleepyhead! Here's your new home!" Santa Claus picked him up and dashed down the chimney so fast it nearly took Mickey's breath away. He stuffed Mickey into a big stocking that was hanging on the mantel shelf, just in case Santa Claus should bring a dog, and patting Mickey's head, he dashed up the chimney before Mickey had a chance to thank him. Mickey hung there all night, but early in the morning, Mickey heard footsteps on the stairs. It was a small boy in blue pajamas. "A dog!" he shouted. "Just what I wanted!" He took Mickey out of the stocking, patting his head. Mickey licked his face and barked. "Arf, arf," said Mickey. "I'm glad. It's the nicest Christmas I've ever had." Mickey wondered if he could understand dog talk. Of course he could. because we understand the ones we love. The end. Thanks for joining me again. Hope you enjoyed that Christmas story.